Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle, Ali. And today I would like to decipher and decipher some of the claims made by Paul Guthrie. I believe that's the proper pronunciation of his last name. But Paul Guthrie, he definitely scholarly. You know what I mean? I liked a lot of the information he was teaching on Master Muhammad. I absolutely disagree with him on his conclusions, and you know, he strikes me as a well-researched individual, and I'm really surprised because it never dawned on me that he's the same one that wrote the book The Making of the White Man, a book that I read, I don't even remember how, it had to be like 20 years ago or something. I mean, but I liked the book that he wrote. It was scholarly, you know, like anything, you know what I mean? You know, you depending on what level you're on, you know what I mean? You know, I don't agree with everything that was in the book, but I'm not here to talk about that book. I'm more or less, anytime I see somebody, you know, going at the nation's line, I usually just try to ignore all that kind of stuff because all that go with the territory, you know what I mean? But he doesn't strike me like he's trying to intentionally slander Master Muhammad and or the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. It seems like he is sincere, but he's just sincerely wrong, if you will. You know what I mean? And I don't really have the time to like go through all his mistakes and, you know what I mean, try to correct them and all that kind of stuff. I don't have the time for all that. But I do want to give him some insight on some things, you know what I mean, because he strikes me as an intelligent man, well-read, definitely analytical in his thinking. However, his premises, it's not just his premise, a lot of people. See, one thing we can't do is we can't make our beliefs other people's knowledge. The message teaches us in Message to the Black Man in America in 1965. He said if a person teaches a thing which he himself does not know, he can be charged with lying to the people. You know what I mean? It's hard for people to realize that you cannot decipher Master Muhammad's history independent of Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teachers, because he's the one that introduced the man to us. You know what I mean? You know, it's like, you know, Paul Guthrie brought up a lot of good points, but I was like trying to, like some of the stuff he was saying, I was like, like, you know, his conclusions and his assumptions and misinformation and misinterpretations and lack of research in many important areas, you know. But I would like to just give a quick, simple rebuttal, if you will, to some of the stuff that he's saying for clarification purposes. But like I said, I like the videos I've seen from me personally. I like them. They was not something that I would agree with, you know what I mean, 100%. If I was just mathematically looking, I would give them a C plus. I would give him a C plus. You know what I mean? Because what he's doing, this is really what it is. This is what makes, you know what I mean, the message, anything that holds our attention is for seeking wisdom. This is why his videos hold my attention. The reason he's reaching them conclusions and he's making those videos, giving out wrong information, whatever, is our fault. When I say I mean the FOI and MGT, meaning that because we are not putting up scholarly videos on Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teachings, we leave a vacuum or a void there for any 85% or 10% to just come in there and just post any nonsense they want, if you will. Know what I mean? So you know, that's my self-criticism. You know what I mean? You know me, I before the internet, I've been doing scholarly joints for the last 30 plus years. You know what I mean? My first scholarly joint was when I was a teenager, and it's 2022, and I can humbly say ain't nobody touch it yet. That's an elaboration of the lost lessons. You know what I mean? I did that back in the early 1980s. You know what I mean? But it's like breaking down the lessons, you know what I mean, to a science. You know what I mean? You know, the angel's diet, the science of how to eat to live, the science of veganism. I wrote like 90 books over 20, 30 years ago. You know what I mean? So, you know, those that are into the teachers like that, you know what I mean, we try to do our little part in the struggle, but it's like a lot of stuff that go with all that. You know what I mean? Like back then, United Brothers Books and Things had my book published on that paper and all that stuff. There was a lot of controversy with the money. You know what I mean? People publishing my stuff without my knowledge. Back then, everybody was like basically just it's like mixtapes. I wasn't mad, but that's you know, that's how I'm in the belly of the beast at the time. But it's like everybody taking my books, going to Kinko's back then, and they was making their own copies and they was selling it at their own vending tables and at parliaments and 5% Cypress in the parks and banquets and Afrocentric Johns, Nation Islam. My books was everywhere. Now I had people writing me, asking me to autograph books, and I'm looking at these covers like, where you got? I never published this. Where you get? I got that from Philadelphia, Malcolm X Park. The guys be down there, you know, come down there every Saturday. They be having your books out there every Saturday. So the thing was, I never mentioned it or said anything because, of course, you know what I mean, you know, you want to try to keep $1 in your pocket, but at the same time, that's all in it. You know what I mean? Meaning, like, you know, it's like hip hop. You know what I mean? You got your rap tape out there, people go and dub that thing. You know what I mean? You know, you catch them red-handed, you deal with that on a case-by-case situation. But me, my thing is like, as long as they get the information, I never did anything. It wasn't about the money for me. It was about pushing the program. You know what I mean? So my thing was like, all right, at least they getting the messengers, raw teachers out there. And at the time back then, in the 80s, I seen the nation was going to do another Imam Worthy Muhammad thing jumping off. It was getting kind of spooky. You know what I mean? So it was like, all right, we got to make sure we keep allowing this message out front. So I just was pushing Master Muhammad, boom, 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 pushing down Elijah Muhammad. Not in a traditional way, like typical ministers. My thing was like Don Elijah Muhammad's his first, last, and only messenger. I was dominant with quoting the messenger books and lessons, and now I mean, you know, our thing, we studied all of them lessons. We knew all them lessons in our head. You know what I mean? Like I know that stuff still in my head. Like it's like riding a bike, if you will. You know what I mean? It was that type of intensity. You know what I mean? But it was needed at the time. You know what I mean? So Paul Guthrie, he's coming in that vacuum. But if you was to look at the messenger, if he was to, in fact, I'd be telling people, if you got any questions about the messenger teachers, send me an email, ministeralif@gmail.com. You know what I mean? It's like it can save you a whole bunch of headache and heartache. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people I notice think that they're more enlightened than Master Fard Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad, which is really comical to me. You know what I mean? Like we're in the age now of like, at least back in the day, they used to just go to the library and plagiarize off who knows what. Nowadays, it's like the internet, so they just plagiarize all kind of crap online, and they rewrite it, remix it, loop it, and act like they some super supreme scientist that's smarter than Master Fard Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad. It's really a joke to me. You know what I mean? Not at all. You know what I mean? And we can show and prove that. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is, the messenger's message definitely will guide our people through this age of mess. But in that struggle, when you have brothers and sisters that's like divided against themselves. You got all these different branches of the Nation of Islam. Now, I mean, you try to share the message to teachers. Everybody want to email me, be like, yo, do you follow this minister or that minister? Is you registered with this? And it's like apples arguing with oranges and bananas and mangoes and roses, saying tulips are not flowers because they don't look like the lilies, and lilies arguing. It's like, come on. You know what I mean? We're all fruit and flowers. We're all FOIs and MGTs, and the struggle, you know what I mean? And it's not about us. You know what I mean? It's about our people. It's about helping people to help themselves. You know what I mean? So all we can do is be witnesses for Messenger Elijah Muhammad's teachings. Show the power of the resurrection and the messenger's word. You know what I mean? But I definitely look forward to seeing the student followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad publishing more informed and more research books or tomes and videos. You know what I mean? You don't have to be no minister. You could be private soldier, lieutenant, a secretary, a supporter, a civilian, whatever. But it's a lot of stuff the messenger teach that's just simply, it's just not being shared. So people make assumptions and people fill those gaps up with all kind of misinterpretations, misinformation, half-truths, and whole lies. And that's part of the struggle right now. But Paul Guthrie, he should realize that Master Muhammad, first of all, gave Honorable Elijah Muhammad 104 books to study in the congressional library. He was saying Master Muhammad never used to name a law. It's like Master Muhammad gave Honorable Elijah Muhammad the Land of Muhammad Ali translation of the Holy Quran. First he gave him a pure Arabic one. He couldn't understand it. He just recognized one letter, Aleph, the Alif, the letter A, the first alphabet. But it's a whole science there. You know what I mean? There are different branches of the Nation of Islam from the 1930s that people are not aware of. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad definitely taught the 5 pillars of Islam. I don't know why he was teaching that. It's a lot of things he did with the years. His thing was like, it wasn't to the 1950s, the messenger did this, that, and the other. But he has to understand that in the Nation of Islam, the messenger from the onset was taught to study the Holy Quran. Our thing is our interpretation of that Holy Quran. Like Paul Guthrie, his thing was like the angels, it's like something supernatural and spooky, not according to Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So I just want y'all to be conscious that the FOI and MGTs need to step up to the plate. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is like in his 80s now. Let's take some of the pressure off his shoulders. The Honorable Salas Muhammad, Jeremiah Shabazz, my minister is no longer physically here. Father-in-law is no longer physically here, but their mind is always here. You know what I mean? Their teachings, their word is still bond. So we got to take these lessons and not just show and tell, but show and prove how to use the life-giving teachings of Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's our duty as civilizers. Peace and blessings, family. I'm your brother in the struggle, Ali.